I will try not to be preachy on this one, but I probably should have labeled the last vlog I did Advice to the Love Lorn Part 1. This is Part 2. Been out all over the world today already. I am working on gathering information for my adopted son Dale. The reason being, 2 years ago, his son, who had a beginner's permit but was not a licensed driver, was in Dale's pickup. He was turning, coming back from the direction of the pie shop, and in the turn lane, turning to go home. He had been feeding their animals. They had some animals boarded elsewhere. And a woman I will not name flew off the interstate, came up, and didn't go in, drive properly and turn into the right lane when she came off the interstate, and went over to the far lane. When I say far lane, over into the turn. There's 3 lanes there: a turn lane, the inside and outside lane. The outside lane would have been the right lane that she should have been on. She went all the way over and hit Dale's pickup and totaled it. Pretty much totaled it. He had it rebuilt. Now, 2 years later, after the insurance company paid her, she is suing Dale for damages and bodily harm and all that. So this video might be a public record, I don't know. I am a person's worst nightmare if I pay attention to you. What I mean by that is I have a 35-year history altogether of digging up information on folks. I retired June 3rd, 2006 from my actual job I had with the DIA, Defense Intelligence Agency. I was a forensic investigator, a forensic analyst, a behavior analyst for those folks, and very, very good at what I did. I have not lost that ability since then. I've actually probably improved in the quality of my investigatory skills. However, let me get a sip. I just started paying attention to this woman, and though she seems to be clean, squeaky clean, I have not finished taking a look at her and at her husband, who has been sued many times and in my opinion is kind of a slip and fall artist. Read into that what you want to, but that's what I've been up to this morning. I had to take a print off to Dale, and he's got a broken rib. And Benjamin does have a job with Dale, but Benji is working on his house right now. He's building steps to get up into the room they're adding on, and then they've got to do the trusses on the roof and put it in place. My son Chris will help him. Right now, Chris is taking a family day for he and his wife and 3 little boys. Tomorrow, he and his wife will meet with a friend of mine. They're going to be renting a house from her. And she would not normally rent to anyone, especially on a long-term basis. The house, after it was going to be finished, it's being remodeled, would be a day or week rental. and she made it known to Chris, she made it known to me. If it weren't for the fact she works with my two oldest sons, and that her late husband Jack spoke highly of them and highly of me. I'd been friends with Jack 40 years. Before he even married her. But our family has a good reputation, and that is paving the way for what is probably going to be the last house Chris and his little family ever live in. It's a good fit. It's right between her, it's next door to her home, and other long-term sterling friends that my wife and I and my sons have. I did not make commentary, and my wife thanked me in the last video when my computer is being invaded and it retaliates. It makes a noise, and she heard it, and I didn't say anything. I'm just saying that if there are noises you hear that I don't explain, that's probably what you're hearing. Let me... Yeah. Now, why did I say Advice to Love Lorn Part 2? Good reputation. How does that happen? Well, see rule number 1. Pay your bills first. Excuse me. There are rules for getting along in life and doing away with all the trauma. T-R-A-U-M-A, trauma that life can visit you with, and that is doing away with the drama. If you're a young person, pay your bills first. If you're an older person, pay your bills first. It makes it less stressful when you try to lay down at night. I don't sleep well at night. I actually got some sleep last night, but why do I not sleep well at night? Pain. I'm not talking about just there. I've had more damage to my old body than most people would believe. But a lot of it was due to my own stupidity, and a lot of it was just wrong place at the wrong time due to the nature of what I was doing for a living early on. But I did catch some flack, and I had some folks that had watched. I had more people watch the video than I normally do, the last one I did. And I got some PMs. Well, that's easy for you to say. What about folks that just don't have your resources? Let me explain something, and this is part B. Pay your bills first. If you can at all work, go work. And if you can't, if you physically really and truly are incapable of working, whether it's due to age or injury or whatever reason, then try to get disability. I'm disabled and I do not draw disability pay. I do draw Social Security and some other things, but number one, pay your bills first. And if you don't have enough for food, what you need to do is review what you're eating. A lot of times you need protein and you can't afford meat, get beans. cook beans. And let me explain something. If you will take a piece of potato, just regular old potato, and you're cooking the beans, put a little bit of baking soda, like in a pot of beans, maybe a tablespoon of baking soda, and put about, oh, see this earphone here, that deal there, about that much off the end of a piece of potato. Peel it, cut the very heel off the potato, put it in there and let it cook with the beans. Soak the beans overnight, stir in some baking soda, then put them, after you've washed them and rinsed them and you're soaking them, put some baking soda in, some salt, and that potato, and slow cook them. And guess what? It will take a lot of the gas out so you don't have the winds when you eat them. My flora in my gut is a lot different than a lot of people's. When I grew up, when I was a lot younger, before I ever moved in with Mom and my dad, Mom being Lori, I spent a lot of time in the woods, ate a lot of wild game I hunted. And I grew up drinking water right out of a pond and out of a creek. Well, that's not sanitary. I knew to drink running water. I knew where to get water. It was taught to me by my grandfather, Virgil Lance, and a few other individuals. And my gut flora is real close to what, and I'm not being racist when I say this, the folks south of the border. You go to Mexico, they say don't drink the water, you'll get Moctezuma's revenge, which is diarrhea. I went down to Mexico a lot when I was younger, drinking, and when I was in the service, I went with friends, and when I was in law enforcement a few times, I had to go down there. And I drank the water, and my compadres would drink the water and get sick, and they wondered, how could you do that? My gut is different. I got sidetracked here, but the things that would affect a lot of people do not affect me, including eating beans. It doesn't give me flatulence. Not usually. Sometimes, depending on the bean, it will. But I got off track. Let me sip. You can eat cheap food. Buy a lot of pasta, buy beans, buy the material to make cornbread. You don't have to have meat every meal. You don't have to have poultry every meal. You just don't. So you pay your bills first, eat cheap if you have to. And transportation, you don't need a new car. And if you live in a city, you can take public transportation or get a bicycle. Just a second. The long and short of it is, you don't have to have the finest things in life. You don't. When you get older, I mean, if I wanted finer clothes to wear, I promise you I could go get them. But I like overalls that are comfortable. They give me a place for this. Lots of pockets. And get enough exercise so that when you lay down at night you can sleep. It's hard for me to exercise. I do exercise every day. My wife doesn't even know that. What do? It's called isometrics. I flex and I hold it for a while. I count in my head, sometimes out loud, then I let off. And I do that several times a day That's one reason that today I'm on one cane instead of two. I've got a lot of work to do this afternoon, and so this, like I said, this won't be as long as that 31-minute one I did. But to those of you watching this, I genuinely, and I mean this, I genuinely hope your day is going well. I hope it is the best day you've ever had today. I really do hope and want that for you, and I pray for that for everybody. That's another thing, young people. I told a young lady that I love dearly at breakfast yesterday. I ate out. She and another young lady that's a friend of mine, and I told this one, I pray for you every day, and I do. And I didn't think she believed in God, but evidently she does, and she started getting misty-eyed and looked up and said, thank you. I pray for a lot of people. If you're watching this, know that I pray for you. I do. It seems that when I pray for other people, my prayers usually get answered in a positive way. For myself, not so much so, but I have an innate and internal knowledge that God takes care of me in the best way I should be taken care of. And that is a true statement right there. I love all of you watching this, I do. And I want God to bless all of you that is watching this. Now, I've got to get off of here. I really do. I've got to take care of stuff. I like that song. And like the sign right there says, be kind. It costs nothing, and it does make a huge difference. Love you, God bless you, and bye.